We live in a time dominated by commercial products branded with company logos. It seems like anything you buy has one brand or another that we like to associate with ourselves. Like the Bald Man brand, eh? The sneakers you wear, the game consoles you replace every 5 years, or whether you drink Pepsi or Coke. But have you ever thought about how much money these companies behind the brands actually make from our loyalty? As it turns out, there are more than 25 companies in the world that are actually richer than entire regions on our planet. Now, some are obvious that you can guess, but some will surprise you. Get ready for this one. Here are 5 companies richer than countries. Volkswagen. Volkswagen is a controversial German automobile manufacturing company that regularly generates revenues far bigger than many countries. In 2017, the company raked in over $276 billion in revenue. To put that into perspective, there are 195 countries in the world. Each one of those has its own gross domestic product, or GDP for short, because gross domestic product isn't exactly catchy. Now, this is important to understand. GDP can be calculated in 3 different ways, but for this video, just think of it as the value of everything a country produces in a single year. Back in 2017, Volkswagen generated more money than 152 countries individually. If Volkswagen were its own territory with internationally recognized borders, it would rank 43rd out of 195. To put that into greater perspective, in the same year, the country of Chile, with a population of just under 18 million people, generated less money than this one car company did from Germany. Now, believe it or not, Volkswagen is a little bit controversial to say the least. And the fact that the company generates more money than the majority of countries around the world individually is something that has raised a lot of eyebrows. Even these eyebrows. You see, Volkswagen was founded in 1937. That was during the Third Reich, just before the Nazis decided that they were better than everyone else and should rule the world. It gets worse though. Volkswagen used forced labor during this period to develop and sell affordable cars to the German population. There's even a photograph of Hitler laying the first stone at the Volkswagen factory before it was constructed. While Volkswagen has apologized for its early history, there are many who refuse to buy its cars for this reason. It's an interesting problem. Can you buy from a company that has an unethical past but says it has atoned for it? I don't know. What do you guys think? Alphabet. You might not have heard of Alphabet, but you certainly have heard of one of its subsidiary companies, Google. Alphabet was actually founded to be the parent company of Google and a few other subsidiaries, making it the 4th largest technology company by revenue in the world. Alphabet generated more than $56 billion in 2020 alone, and this doesn't even tell the story of its overall value as a business. Alphabet is currently valued at more than $1 trillion. In terms of its yearly revenue, Alphabet is bigger than Uruguay, Haiti, and Iceland, to name just a few. As a tech company, Alphabet has influence in almost every part of our lives, mostly through its Google products. They know everything about you and where you live. I mean, people can say that they use Bing as a search engine, but come on, do you really? A lot of people are concerned about how integrated into our lives Alphabet products are right now, and possibly even more in the future. The company has bought advanced artificial intelligence systems like DeepMind, which is capable of problem solving similar to human beings, at least when it comes to playing games. Alphabet owns Calico, a company hell-bent on curing not just currently untreatable illness, but death itself. I mean, that's great and all, but I'd settle on just figuring out how to not be bald anymore. I mean, I like being bald though. Since 2010, Google itself has been in a struggle with the entire European Union over whether or not it has too much power in the marketplace. Because, you know, once you're as big as a country, you might as well take on an entire continent. Walmart. In 2020, Walmart generated $559 billion in revenue. That number is so big it kind of makes my head hurt. This was up almost 7% from the previous year and kept it as the top retailer in the US, even bigger than Amazon. Let's imagine that there's a far off and distant land where you can buy everything from sweatpants to cake, and even bigger sweatpants because of the cake. We'll call this place Walmartia, the land of abundance. If Walmart were a country in 2020, it would have been ranked as 41st for GDP, generating more revenue than entire countries like Ireland, Israel, and Uzbekistan. the last of which has a population of nearly 34 million people. While Walmart is famous as a brand in its own right, it's a multinational corporation owning department stores, grocery stores, and hypermarkets across the globe. Like every company on this list, Walmart wants an increase in its revenue. One way it had planned to do this is to introduce robot slaves, workers, that can stock shelves and serve customers at lightning speed. Just make sure you oil them. While it has backtracked on this due to the possibility of industrial action from its employees, there are still rumors that this is where Walmart is heading and could result in job losses. I certainly don't want to see anyone lose their job to a toaster with wheels. That would not be cool. Though I do love freshly toasted bread. What's fascinating about Walmart is that it continues to grow while other physical retailers lose their market share to online stores and marketplaces. It's almost like the last bastion of how shopping used to work. There are a few others though, like Target, with $75 billion in revenue in 2019. We're gonna have to be careful or soon the world map's gonna be made up of brands and logos instead. I think I'll just holiday in Nike, just south of Levi. Amazon. Let's face it, even before the pandemic, Amazon was practically as big as a country. But since most of us have spent a year inside, we've taken to ordering everything online. That's boosted Amazon's revenue by 84%, hitting sales of $386 billion. That means Amazon has been generating more money than countries like the Czech Republic, Portugal, and the Ukraine. Even Pakistan, with a population of more than 212 million people, does not generate as much cash flow as Jeff Bezos' powerhouse of a company. Just like Alphabet, the revenue of Amazon doesn't tell the entire story. Again, it's said to be worth over $1 trillion. This means that if Amazon were sold, it would generate more money than 177 out of 195 countries. This is why Amazon's owner, Jeff Bezos, is able to fund the development of new space technologies through his other company, Blue Origin. Maybe once rival company SpaceX sets up a base on Mars, Blue Origin will make deliveries for Amazon to the Red Planet. You never know. Though I doubt the next day delivery thing will be a thing. Maybe for Prime members. Unlike e-commerce competitors like eBay, Amazon has branched out way beyond its initial retail business model. You can stream movies, buy digital copies of books, and even get your groceries through their website. This has led some to speculate that the company will have to be split up at some point in the future. If you can get almost everything you ever need from one marketplace, then that becomes a monopoly and, well, stops competition. It's only a matter of time before the desire to keep Amazon together as one business will be tested against antitrust laws. I, for one, think that these things should be settled by a massive game of Twister. Government versus company. In one corner, Joe Biden, and in the other, Jeff Bezos. Either that or a rap battle. I want royalties if they end up doing this rap battle, man. A man's gotta get paid. Apple. They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, unless of course it's a $1 trillion business that revolutionizes technology and how we communicate with each other. Owning a company like that would just be stressful and difficult to eat. You ever tried to eat an iPhone? It's not easy. Apple is said to be worth $2.08 trillion. Some numbers just hurt my mind, man, you know? Now you might be asking, how can one company be worth that? Did they find the secret to eternal youth like the eye grail or something? Well, no. In 2020, Apple generated revenues of more than $274 billion. In terms of revenue, that makes Apple richer than Peru, Greece, and Morocco. But that $2 trillion valuation? If Apple was sold for that amount, it would generate more cash than 187 countries do in 1 year individually. If Apple were a country, it would rank 9th in the world, beating out Australia, Canada, and even the world's largest country by landmass, Russia. That's a huge piece of fruit. As a company, it remains one of the most influential in the world, with regular upgrades to its iPhone, iMac, and Apple Watch range. But that's not going to change anytime soon. There have been a lot of rumors about Apple getting into the electric car business to try to rival Tesla. Now, it would take a tremendous amount of money to supplant Elon Musk's company, but if any business is capable of doing that, it's Apple. Of course, unless Elon Musk eats the apple and then... Okay, no more fruit jokes. But really, what do you guys think? Should companies be allowed to grow so big that they can rival entire countries with influence and buying power? Seriously, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, come tell me on twitch.tv/MatthewSantoro, where I'm probably live right now. It's the first link in the description. Tap here to catch up on my recent uploads, and tap here for a video similar to this one. I'll see you soon.